Nadia and welcome to day 5 of the You Nutritional Therapy 7-Day Yoga Challenge. Now today we're going to start to include some back bends into our practice. So don't panic if it's been a while since you've done any back bending or you're a little bit worried. Back bends involve a lot of shoulder and hip opening, so if you prefer you can just focus on those. As always, there will be some modifications if you want to make it a little bit easier. So in particular today, I would remind you just to focus on what feels comfortable for you. When we're doing our back bends, we really want to focus on the breathing by inhaling to lengthen through the spine before we start to bend. So just keep the breath flowing, work where it feels comfortable and enjoy. So to start with, we're going to come into easy cross, just resting the hands on the knees. Just make sure you've got a couple of blocks or a cushion or bolster and a strap to hand. So just closing the eyes, resting the hands on the knees, taking a moment just to get centered. We'll inhale through the nose and letting it all out through the mouth. And again. Now just connecting in with that Ujjayi breath, breathing in and out through the nose, just gently opening the eyes. Now from here, we're going to come into a kneeling position. If you've got your blocks, cushions or bolster, you can always just prop them up to sit on because we want to take the heels just slightly outside of the hips. If it feels comfortable, and your bum can touch the mat, then you can do it without the blocks if you prefer, just coming into hero pose. Any pressure on the knee, make sure you come up higher. If it really doesn't feel good, then just come into a regular kneeling position. So from here, we're going to take our strap. So just holding it out in front of us, just a little bit wider than shoulder width. We'll inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, sliding the hands apart as we open up. Or inhale, lifting up once more. And exhale, taking the hands down. So you can readjust the positioning of the hands if you prefer. We'll do that once more. Inhaling as we lift. Exhaling to open. Inhale, lifting back up. And exhale, coming back down. So just moving your strap out the way for now. We're going to take the hands down and moving into tabletop. Wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips. Few circles as always. And in the other direction. And just coming to stillness. From here we're going to inhale, lifting the chest forward as we exhale, rounding through the back. We'll inhale, coming forwards through cow pose, and then exhale into cat. Now finding our way back into our neutral position, we're going to inhale, reaching out with that right arm and the left leg. This time we're going to flex that back foot, bending at the knee. From here we're going to reach around. Doesn't matter if you can touch the foot or not. If you can touch the foot, just holding from the inside and then inhaling as we lift up, just coming into half bow. And then releasing as we exhale. Inhale, reaching up with that left arm and the right leg, flexing the back foot, bending at the knee and reaching around. Holding for the inside of the foot and then inhaling as we lift. So really opening up the shoulder here. And exhale, coming back down from here. We're going to tuck the toes underneath and lifting that tailbone, making our way into downward dog. As always, you can gently pedal the heels down to the mat and then finding stillness. Taking the gaze to the top of the mat, stepping the feet between the hands. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. exhale, forward fold. And inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing hands to heart center, opening to Tadasana. We'll inhale, raising the arms. And exhale, folding forwards. We'll inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands down. Stepping into plank. Coming down to the knees. Lowering the rest of the body. We'll inhale through cobra. And exhale into downward dog. Holding for one round of breath. Taking the gaze to the top of the mat. Stepping the feet between the hands. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing hands to heart center. Opening back to Tadasana. And again, inhaling, arms up. Even bringing a little bit of back bend into it. And exhale, folding forwards. We'll inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands down. Stepping into plank. Coming down to the knees, lowering the rest of the body. Now from here, we're going to take the hands out to the sides and just rolling into that right shoulder. We'll step that left foot over the right leg, just leaning into the shoulder, maybe even opening up the hips. And then rolling back onto the front and just rolling into that left shoulder, stepping the right foot over this time. If it feels okay, just starting to open up. And then coming back onto our front. Now we're going to take the arms a little bit forward, just resting the forearms on the mat, lifting that body into Sphinx pose. Just keeping that spine nice and long. From here, we're going to reach that left hand forward, bending the right foot towards us. We're just going to reach around with the right hand. Now from here you can just hold the outside of the foot, otherwise just rolling around to the inside, just taking that heel slightly outside the hip, and we can flip the grip so that our fingers and toes are pointed in the same direction, just gently pushing that heel down towards the mat. And then releasing from here. We'll do the same on the other side. So bending that left foot towards us, just reaching around, fine to stay here, otherwise coming to the inside, pushing that heel towards the mat and flipping the grip so fingers and toes are in the same direction. Just holding here and then release. We're going to take the hands underneath the shoulders, inhaling through cobra and exhaling into downward dog. From here, we're going to inhale to lift that right leg to tripod, and then exhale, stacking that right hip over the left, just taking a few circles using that whole leg, just making sure we go in both directions. Or inhale, squaring back to tripod, and exhale, drawing that knee in, placing the right foot between the hands, lowering that back knee, untucking the toes, and inhaling to low lunge. As always, just making sure that the ankle is directly under the knee. Each exhale, just allowing the hips to sink a little closer to the mat, maybe bringing in some back bend energy. As we exhale, taking the hands down to the mat, we're going to tuck the toes, lifting that back knee, stepping back into plank. Now you can come down through the chaturanga if you prefer this time. So inhaling through our upward dog, exhaling into downward dog. As we inhale, lifting that left leg to tripod, and exhale, stacking the hips, taking a few circles using that whole leg, and a few circles in the opposite direction. As we inhale, squaring back to tripod, and exhale, drawing in the knee, placing the foot between the hands, lowering the back knee, untucking the toes, and inhaling into low lunge on this side. So just holding here. On each exhale, just allow yourself to release as much as possible. On Taking the hands down to the mat, tucking the toes, lifting the back knee, stepping back into plank, either down to the knees or through chaturanga. Inhaling through up dog or cobra, and exhaling into our downward facing dog. If you want a little breather at this point, you're welcome to come down to the knees or into child's pose. Just press pause for a moment or two. That's absolutely fine, and rejoin us when you're ready. So coming back into our downward dog. From here we'll inhale to lift that right leg to tripod. We'll exhale, stacking the hips once more. Now if you wish, if you want to take this a little bit further, we're going to allow ourselves to flip over and lifting the hips so we're coming into Wild Thing. And then placing that hand back down, inhaling, coming back to tripod, and then exhale, placing the right foot between the hands. We're going to lower that back heel, inhaling into Warrior One, so making sure that those hips are facing forwards, just relaxing the shoulders. From here, we're going to take the hands behind the back and then arch the warrior, so lifting the chest to the ceiling, sliding the hands down that back leg, keeping the bend in the front leg. And then inhale, reaching back up in our regular Warrior One. And exhale, opening up into Warrior Two. So making sure those hips are in line with the long end of the mat, knees still above the ankle. Now from here, we'll flip that front hand, inhaling to reverse the warrior. And exhale, cartwheeling the hands down, stepping back into plank, either coming down to the knees or through your chaturanga. Inhaling through cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling into our downward facing dog. Now we'll inhale to lift that left leg to tripod. And exhale, stacking the hips. So again, you've got the option to stay here or stepping over, lifting the hips into Wild Thing. As we exhale, placing that hand down, inhaling to tripod, exhale, left foot between the hands. We're going to lower that back heel, inhaling to our Warrior One on this side. Just make sure that back foot is at 45 degrees, hips facing forwards. From here, we'll take the hands behind the back once more, inhaling to arch the warrior. So chest towards the ceiling, sliding the hands back, and then inhale, coming up, reaching up with the arms, and exhale, opening up into our Warrior Two. So just finding your position here. We'll flip the front hand, inhaling to reverse the warrior, keep that front knee bent, and exhale, cartwheeling the hands down. We're going to step into plank, either down through chaturanga or to the knees. Inhaling through our upward facing dog or cobra, and exhaling into downward facing dog. We'll take the gaze towards the top of the mat, coming to sit in easy cross. Now you may want to grab your block to use here as we come onto our back. So feet on the mat. We want to make sure that our feet stay hip width apart, and we want to keep them parallel. So from here we're going to come up into bridge pose. So the first option here is just to keep the hands on the mat and just lifting the glutes. So you can hold here if you wish. Second option, using the block, we're going to take that onto the sacrum. So we don't want to put it on any part of the spine that's going to bend, just resting it on the flat part that you can find. And again, just keeping the hands on the mat. If you want to go a little bit higher, then we can start to roll the shoulders underneath, clasping the hands and pressing them into the mat. So we get a little bit more lift in the top of the back. Again, keeping the feet parallel. So whichever variation you choose, just coming up, and we're going to hold for a few rounds of breath.
firing up those glutes and opening the shoulders. And then when you're ready, we can untuck the shoulders, very slowly rolling down. Now keeping the feet on the mat, it's very tempting to want to curl up straight away, but we don't want to do that just yet. So from here, we're going to come into a second round of that. So whichever variation you feel comfortable with, just moving up. If you are quite comfortable with back bends, then you can take the hands underneath the shoulders and pressing up into wheel. Now again, really important, keep those feet parallel. It feels a lot nicer around your SI joint. And then very slowly rolling your way back down, keeping the feet on the floor. We're going to take the knees together, just working the feet a little bit further apart. And we're going to start to windscreen wiper the legs from side to side. So this can just release around the hips, which just always feels a lot more pleasant than going straight into a curled up pose. Very tempting to do when you've just finished a back bend. So from here, we're now going to bring the knees into the chest, just gently rocking from side to side, and then rolling back and forth. Coming all the way up to seated. Now from here, we're going to take the legs out in front. We're going to take a really relaxed forward fold. So we want our back to curve a little bit here, just threading the arms underneath and allowing the head to come towards the legs. So we're going to hold here for a few rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, just coming back upright. Hopefully that felt okay and you worked where it was comfortable for you. Well done, and I look forward to seeing you for a twisting flow tomorrow for day 6.